Well, basically, I had bridges in the bottom of my mouth, which were put in when I was very young. I was like 28 or 27, which is really young to lose bottom teeth. And at the time, I had a huge voiceover account for a department store. So for me, at that time, to lose teeth and have to put in wobbly bridges and stuff was really...
Were they wobbly?
Well, in my head they were going to be wobbly, but actually they weren't. So I was very fortunate at the time to get bridge work in, but that's really young to still have, you know, when no one else is even having cavities, to have bridge work put in. And it was, for me, it was really important that my speech was not affected one bit. I could have no S problem, I could have no sibilants, none of that stuff. So at that time, which is sort of relates to how I got to Dr. Worley, I had my teeth done by another specialist who was another sort of one of the angels in my life, who did the bottom teeth for me. But now we're going back quite a number of years, and so they started to loosen, and I started to basically, my speech was getting very affected, and I could hear it in the radio spots I was doing. But what ends up happening is when you're able to correct yourself, which is I could do, I could fix it by my own technique, but it was starting to get to the point where what happens with bridges, because it happens with age, is the gums...
Well, why didn't you just get dental implants in the first place?
To me, the whole screw thing was so scary. I saw pictures of them, like, no one's putting that in my mouth.
Okay.
Truthfully. You know, because I'm sort of like a health food person, and
So you just didn't like the idea?
I didn't like the idea of the foreign thing. The bridge thing was a bit...
So what changed your mind?
I think what basically changed my mind is that I called the dentist that did my original work, and he said, you know, now implants are the thing. And I said, well, I don't think so, not for me. What other options? And I guess, you know, I just felt I was very young for the whole denture thing, and it just seemed really, you know, I already had the removable bottom thing, and I was like, I didn't really have much of a choice about, my bottom teeth were wobbly.
Okay.
So I was really...
How did you hear about Dr. Worley, by the way? Worley.
I heard about Dr. Worley from my first dentist, who to me was my first god, and I called him and I said, I have to do something, and he said, I heard this man speak, and I don't know him personally, but you must go meet him. And I had already fired 3 dentists, because once you've been in the dentist world, once you've been a patient in the dentist world as long as I have been,
okay,
you get very savvy to whether you like somebody or whether you trust them. That to me is
so
really...
When you met him, tell me about day one. I mean, did you know right away this was your guy?
I felt comfortable the minute I walked in the door, because it reminded me of my first dental experience, and having just fired 3 dentists, which I'm not proud to say, and I won't mention their names, and they were dentists in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
You know, because I went where people told me to go, and I didn't like the attitudes, and I didn't like the...
So he was friendly?
Everybody was. The receptionists were wonderful at the time. There was a woman, Tina, here, who was just so gracious to me, because I was really scared and very defensive. Because I had just now fired these 3 dentists, so I kind of came in with, you may be in Newport Beach, but, you know, are you really, is this going to be good for, you know?
Okay.
So I kind of...
How many implants did you have, by the way?
I had 6 put in the bottom.
Do they feel like your own teeth?
They feel better. Well, you have to realize I haven't had my own bottom teeth in a long time. To me,
was it a huge difference?
It's, you know, someone had said this to me, it's like it's a tree in the ground and they're secure, and I never even think about it. This is one of those things, a decision that I wish I'd made years ago to do the implants, because to me it's sort of a no-brainer. That's kind of what I've been telling people. They'll say, you know, I'm thinking of getting an implant. I said, don't even think about it. Why would you do anything? Don't do anything else. It really is. They never move. I'll tell you, and this is something I actually have told a lot of my friends, people that don't, to me, I'm sort of like a germaphobe, which is not something I actually like to admit, but the cleanliness of the office, everybody had, like to say, everybody had spacesuits on when I came in for my surgery, and I'm not kidding you. Everything had gloves and masks, and if you're, in this day and age, you have to be concerned with that, and I was so impressed with that. There was a safety, there was a whole relaxation that came over me, and I just put my trust, because I'm pretty nervous when it comes, and pretty, even though I've had a lot of dental work done, I just put it off for a long time because of my fears.
What about eating and chewing and things like that? Did you find yourself more social, more confident, anything like that?
Well, I never, for years, I couldn't do the hard candy thing. I couldn't do nuts. I hadn't had a cashew in 15 years because the nut thing you just don't do because it moves all around and it gets caught and everything. And the implants are really easy to clean. They're just really easy to take care of.